Yo.
Testing, testing, testing. What's up, guys? I'm Code Gray. Welcome back to the channel. So what am I out testing today? Nothing. I ain't testing anything. Actually, testing's all done. But for the past few days, I have been out testing. I have been out testing my audio setup again. Why am I out testing my audio again? Well, if you guys have noticed, over my last few videos, there have been quite a few issues with popping and crackling when I get above 55 miles per hour, 60 miles per hour. It's been pretty good under that, but once I hit those speed limits or above, yeah, I started getting a lot of popping and crackling. It's been driving me nuts. I don't like it, and I'm sure you guys don't like it either. As content creators, you know, we like to put out quality content. Not just visual, but, you know, audio too. And popping and crackling isn't quality. It's annoying. So what did I change? What have I been testing? Well, first let me tell you what my original setup is. So currently in my helmet, originally in my helmet, I should say, I have the Sony ECM LV1 microphone. With that microphone comes a foam cover, which I have on the microphone, but let's be honest, it's a thin foam cover and it's not really intended for motovlogging, but I used it anyway. But I knew it wouldn't be enough, so I added a dead cat on top of the foam cover. And it sounded good until I got to 55 or above. So on the first test day, what I decided to do was add a second dead cat. The microphone is kind of T-shaped in a way. It's well, it's almost kind of pill-shaped, but the way the cord goes into the microphone, if you hold it up, it looks like a T. So I took the dead cat, the first dead cat, and I covered it this way. Had pretty good coverage over it, which I thought was pretty good coverage. So when I added the second dead cat, I covered it the opposite way, in the opposite direction, and sealed it all up real good. That way I knew I had full coverage over the entire microphone. So after I got everything nice and covered up and put back in the helmet, I went out for a test ride. And everything sounded really good. Sounded good at lower speeds. I was slightly concerned, not majorly concerned, with the extra dead cat that it might muffle the sound a little bit. But no problems there. Everything sounded real good. But I went out to a freeway and went above 65 or more. And sure enough, the popping and crackling came right back. So I figured maybe it's not the microphone. Maybe it's a connection issue. The reason I thought this is because I originally used the Purple Panda, and the plug that comes off the Purple Panda that goes into your mic adapter, when you plug it in, you can actually feel a little click when it goes in. Well, with the Sony microphone, there's no click. It goes in easily and it feels snug, but it just doesn't feel quite as snug as the Purple Panda did. So I'm thinking maybe I got a little bit of a wonky connection there. So what I ended up doing is I stole one of my wife's hair bands and I wrapped it around the mic adapter and then around the plug from the Sony mic. You could probably see how I got it back here, maybe. But that way I knew for sure that that wasn't wiggling around when the wind hit it. So I went out for another test run, and just as before, everything sounded really good under 55 miles per hour. But once I got above 55, 60 or plus, crackling and popping, that all came right back again. So I'm like, okay, I gotta settle this issue one way or the other. I gotta figure it out. For the third test, what I ended up doing was taking a whole new dead cat. Now this dead cat I'm about to tell you about is from a totally separate microphone that I bought for live streaming. It's not one of the huge microphones, but it's about the size of a small flashlight or torch for you Brits. But the dead cat that comes on this thing is about the size of my fist. It's huge. Now this mega dead cat has got a ton of foam in it, and it is fully covered in the fur. So what I did was I took the two original dead cats off the mic. I left the foam cover on it. Then I shoved my microphone inside this gigantic dead cat and not so easily got it inside my helmet. Remember, this thing's the size of my fist and I'm fitting it inside my cheek pad here. Needless to say, it was a tight squeeze. My biggest worry with that huge dead cat was being completely muffled. But when I went out on my test run, my voice sounded quite good. And not only did the voice sound really good, but the wind noise was cut drastically. But yet again, that test was a failure, because once I got up 65 miles per hour, 60 plus, the popping and crackling came right back again. Now, this microphone is fully encased in this giant dead cat, and there is no chance of excessive wind getting inside of it. I'm not screaming in it, and my helmet isn't that loud. So I knew then, after I got home and checked the footage, it had nothing to do with wind getting inside my helmet causing this popping and crackling, because there's just no way that the wind was getting inside of this thing. So the only thing left that I could think of that might be an issue is still a connection problem. And the only connection left that I hadn't messed with is the actual mic adapter plug that goes into the GoPro. Now, if you think about it, that plug takes the full brunt of the wind. So what I ended up doing for the next test was stealing another one of my wife's hair bands, wrapping it around my GoPro mount, and then wrapping it around the plug that goes into my GoPro. You can see it right here. You can see it stretched around to secure that sucker in place, to keep it from not wiggling much at all. So then I went out for yet another test. On this test, I still had the giant dead cat, and I had the back plug secured, and then now I had the front plug secured. And yet the test was another failure. But on a positive note, it wasn't a complete failure like the other ones. The popping and the crackling got about 80-85% better. I mean, it was a lot better once I had everything secured. What is there left to do? I'm not going to hard mount my plug to my GoPro and put some kind of wax or anything like that over it, because I take it apart to take it off my helmet and swap batteries and all that stuff. So there'll be no hard mounting anything. So the only thing left to do is get some of this wind off of my GoPro, if I plan on vlogging over 55 miles per hour, which I would like to do. Getting stuck vlogging at under 50 is kind of annoying. It limits where I can go. So, what are my plans to relieve the wind? Well, the only thing left to do is get a different windscreen, get some of this wind off my helmet. I mean, if you think about it, look at a lot of your cruiser guys that vlog. Their setup is similar or same as mine, yet they don't have that popping and crackling. Some of them even have open face helmets, and they don't get that popping and crackling. And what's the difference between their bike and mine? Well, they have a giant fairing in front of them with a great big windscreen. Now, yes, I have a windscreen on this bike, but this windscreen is designed for racing. If I fully tuck down, like so, then there's almost no wind on my helmet. But I'm not gonna ride like that all the time. Now, my original intention was to get a different windscreen anyway. And the reason is I like the shape of this windscreen, but I don't really care for clear windscreens on a sport bike. I like the tinted ones. But now that I know I have this wind issue on my connections, instead of just getting a replacement similar style, this tinted, I'll probably get a double bubble windscreen. It'll still look good, and it'll push a lot of this wind off my helmet. And hopefully it will reduce all this popping and crackling in my videos. Well, that is if I plan on vlogging above 55 miles per hour. Yeah, guys, those were my testing days. It took a few tries, let me tell you. And some aggravation, too. But I think I have a resolution in mind. Help the audio and make the bike look better. It's a win-win. Alright, guys, I'm getting a little long-winded here, and I better wrap it up. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm Code Gray. I'll catch you guys in the next one.